communication transformed my life in the last 2 years. I went from having no money, no business experience, hardly any skills, to today having cracked one of the most competitive exams in India. I run a six-figure business. I work with people from around the globe. I have an audience of 25,000 on Instagram. My weekly newsletter is read by almost 2,000 people. And all of this can be chalked down to just the one skill, that is communication. In this video, I want to show you how you can improve your communication skills, how you can become great at it so that you can perhaps undergo a similar transformation in your life as well. So without further ado, let's just dive straight into it. Now, a couple of years ago when I was in university, I always wanted to become successful. I wanted to do things that were meaningful, that were noteworthy, and that would do justice to my potential, to my capabilities. But I did not quite know how things would work out. And if you are skeptical about whether improving your communication is something that you should be working on, here's a little story to illustrate my point a little better. When I started my agency business in early 2024, I had no experience doing marketing, doing content, doing social media. I knew none of it. I had zero skills. And I started out the business by going out and door knocking. So I went to local businesses and I pitched them on my service, which at that time was social media marketing. And I asked them to give me money in exchange for the services that I offered. And mind you, I went in with zero skills and zero experience. So there was no reason that any of these people would trust me and give me their money. And yet, within 1 week of me starting to door knock, I signed 2 clients that had paid me money for the first 3 months in order for me to do the marketing for them. The only reason that this happened was because I managed to communicate my ideas, my thoughts, and my plans to them in a manner that gave them the confidence that, okay, this is a guy that we can trust and this is a guy that can deliver on his word, right? And that is how important and how powerful communication is. If you are a good communicator, you can compensate for all of the other things that are missing. So if I want to give someone confidence that I can do the job for them, even if my skills are lacking or my experience is lacking, if I am a great communicator, chances are I will be able to convince the other person that I can do what I say I can do. And that is why you need to start developing the ability to communicate confidently, to communicate effectively, whether you're trying to get a job or you're trying to start your own business or you're just a student or you're already working a job and you're trying to get better at it or you're trying to get a promotion or you're trying to climb the corporate ladder, right? Wherever you are, you have to start working on your communication skills because it will help you everywhere. This was just a professional example. On a more social level, every time I go out in a social interaction, I can very easily make friends. I can very easily have people stand there and listen to me. People find me interesting because I know what to say, I know how to say it, I know how to communicate effectively to make my presence felt in a social situation. If you're a young person, I'm not saying that you should try and gun for social status, but it does hold a level of importance and it does have a lot of merit to have the ability to hold your own in a social interaction or in a social situation. Now, communication as a whole is quite broad. I like compartmentalizing it into 3 sections. Now, you need to improve each of these 3 sections to have an overall effect, an overall improvement in your communication skills, and each of these needs to be focused on separately. These 3 sections are consumption, formation, and expression, right? Consumption comes first, formation comes second, and expression comes third. This is a chronological order of events. Now let me explain to you what this means. Hey guys, quick plug. If you are a student or a professional looking to improve your communication but you don't quite know how to go about it, I teach all of this in great detail inside my new communications course, which is called Communication Powerhouse, where I will help you transform your communication and life over the next 90 days. Now this course is on pre-sale right now, and so for a limited time I'm giving it to you for a 50% discount, and anyone who's picking it up during pre-sale will get a one-on-one 30-minute session with me where I will personally review your communication, your writing, your speaking, and give you feedback to kick it up a notch. Now this only lasts till the pre-sale. Once the course is released and once it's live, all of this will be taken away. So the link is in the description. I highly recommend you go and check it out once, and I hope to see you in there. Consumption is the input. It is the information that you are putting inside of your head. See, you cannot communicate if there is nothing to communicate, which means you need information, you need ideas, you need thoughts in order to communicate them. And these ideas, thoughts, and information is put inside your head by a source, right? This could be content you consume on Instagram, or videos you watch on YouTube, or movies you watch, books you read, music you listen to. But the fastest way to become better at communication, especially in English, right? Because English has become the universal language in a professional setting, is to improve the quality of inputs, right? Is to improve the quality of content that you are consuming across different sources. So if you're watching movies, try watching movies that have a better quality of content, that have great language being used, that have great directors. You can watch, you think of Christopher Nolan, for example, right? His movies are a class apart. The storylines, the dialogues, the actors, everything is top notch. If you start watching better movies, you're instantly putting better information inside your head. And the better the quality of information here, the better your expression ultimately, right? So if you upgrade your quality of inputs, the movies you're watching, the music that you're listening to, listen to music that provokes you, right? That gives you thoughts, it gives you ideas, that has richly written lyrics. It will instantly improve your experience of the language itself, right? Artists like Pink Floyd or Iron Maiden, like just go and read the lyrics that these artists are writing, and you will understand what I mean. And Bob Dylan, for example, right? And you will understand the depth of language, of communication, of expression that these people are using. You need to surround yourself with all of these things that increase your level of input, that increase the quality of information inside your head. So read better books, right? Do not go out and read Chetan Bhagat. Go out and read books that stimulate your thinking, that put quality information inside your head. Read quality authors, Malcolm Gladwell, for example. You have authors like Daniel Pink. If you're into fiction, you can read stuff like Dostoevsky. And you will understand the quality of thoughts and ideas that these people have, that they put into their books, their movies, their videos, etc. Right? If you're consuming content on Instagram, on YouTube, try to consume very high quality content that aligns with your goals and purposes, because like I said, consumption and increasing the quality of consumption will be the first step in helping us achieve a better level of communication. Now, once that is done, the second step is formation, right? This is where our brain takes all of the ideas that it has borrowed from elsewhere, all the information that has been fed to it, and it creates its own ideas and its own thoughts and its own data bank, right? And you want to improve the quality of these ideas and thoughts as much as possible. So one way, of course, is to improve the quality of inputs, but then once that quality of inputs is there, then you need to practice thinking. Thinking is a skill that most people don't quite understand, because our lives have become so fast. We are constantly involved, we're constantly doing things, we don't really have time out. Keep time out of your day to sit down, to reflect on the information that you've consumed, all the things that have happened to you during the day, and maybe write it down somewhere. This is one of the best things that I can recommend. Even if you're not great at writing, even if you're not good at English, right? Start to think more, because writing forces you to think, which is why I suggest writing. But even if you're not writing your thoughts down, just sit down for 10, 15, 20 minutes and reflect on your day, reflect on the information, think about it, think in the language you want to communicate with. See, all of us are born with a native tongue. I was born in a Gujarati household, and so naturally my language of thought is Gujarati. But I have forced myself to start thinking in the language that I want to get better at. So now I try to form my thoughts, my ideas in English. It's a very intentional process. It will not happen naturally. It will feel very foreign. But once you start doing it, you will start to notice a significant difference in the quality of your thoughts, how you can conjure ideas in English or in whatever language you're trying to communicate in, right? So sit down, put some time aside, and just think about, maybe it's a book that you read or a movie that you watched, right? And start developing these little ideas in your head in the language of your communication, which is English for now. Start having thoughts in English, start writing down these thoughts on a piece of paper, start having opinions, right? This formation formation process is of course influenced by the quality of inputs, but once you get better at thinking itself, you will start to develop original thoughts, original ideas. You will start to become much more comfortable with that thought process, because it is a very important precursor to the next step, which is expression. So if you get better at formation, which only happens with practice, you have to start thinking in the language of your choice, and you have to do it every day. You have to analyze what has gone in and start to develop your own thoughts, ideas and opinions around it. You will start to notice a difference in the ultimate communication and the last step, which is expression. Now, this is the part that everyone sees. When we talk about communication, everyone sees what you are saying and they see what you are writing. They don't really see the consumption and the formation. However, you have to realize that the consumption and the formation are what create the expression. So you cannot just skip to expression and just practice talking in English and practice with a friend, and you cannot expect to get better at communication if you just focus on the expression. You have to focus on the other two. But once you've nailed the first two down, then expression can be handled, and there's a lot of different nuances to the expression part. For example, there's pronunciation, right? When you're speaking, how do you pronounce certain words? How do you modulate your voice? How do you control a conversation? Now, all of these three things, all of these things for that matter, are too complex to discuss in a short video like this one. But once you've sorted the first two out, then you can start working on your expression, right? Writing, for example, there's choice of words, what words to use, how to structure your writing in a way that the reader enjoys reading what you've written. It involves guiding the reader through your writing. How long should your sentences be? What words should you use in those sentences? These are all arts in themselves, and these are all small parts that make up the expression ultimately, right? So when you talk about expression, you cannot just start narrating lines in English or just writing lines in English and hope to get better. You have to be very intentional about it. You have to know what exactly you're trying to improve. Are you trying to improve your confidence when speaking, or voice modulation, or your tonality, or your pronunciation? Or when it comes to writing, are you trying to improve your flow or your choice of words, your vocabulary, right? The last part is oftentimes what separates the great communicators, the exceptional communicators, with the ordinary ones. But if you've nailed the first part, the consumption, if you've nailed the second part, which is the formation, you've practiced, it's like a link, right? Think of it like consumption followed by formation followed by expression. It is a chain, and for that chain to become stronger and for it to become almost a reflex action, you need to practice that link, right? You need to speak with a partner, speak in front of a mirror, you need to practice writing, maybe start a blog. I don't know how you want to do it, but it will take time. It will not happen immediately, right? Once again, if you want to learn all of these nuances to communication, if you want to learn how to become a better communicator in 90 days, you can check out the link in the description. I've opened the pre-sale for my course. It will help you become a powerhouse communicator in 90 days, guaranteed, right? Now, thanks a lot for watching the video. If you're interested in these topics, I will be putting more such videos out on this channel. Consider subscribing. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like, leave a comment about what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.